So I'm sorry that I'm not here today. Had a death in my husband's family, so I am at a funeral today. But I wanted to go ahead and continue with our plan, and our plan was that we were going to do this Unit 1 in-class review today. So I'm going to work through some slides here with you and do some practice. And then I have a practice worksheet for you guys to work on. So you have a hard copy of this. I hope the substitute has handed it out to you. If not, somebody stop right now and ask the substitute for a copy of this Unit 1 in-class review so that you guys can work through this with me, okay? So remember, Wednesday we're going to MAPS test, and then you guys' Unit 1 test will be Friday for my A days and Tuesday for my B days. So, all right, let's go ahead and work through this. There are some different parts to this test. We've covered 3 units, and so I've got this kind of broke up into 4 different parts. The first thing that we talked about was how to compare a linear, a quadratic, or an exponential function. And so remember I said the standard that we were looking at here was that can we look at a table of values and tell whether it is linear, quadratic, or exponential, and why? So remember, when we want to do that, we always want to check our x values and see that their successive value is the same, and it is going up by 1 here. So let's check and see what's happening with our y values. I'm going to start here, -6 to -5. When I go -6 to -5, that's +1, right? And when I go -5 to -2, that's +3, right? And when I go -2 to 3, that's +5. And then when I go 3 to 10, that's +7. Now, I could have also checked the ratios, which would have meant I would have wanted to check to see if I could multiply this way times the same number to get to the next number. But that's not going to do us any good here because I can't multiply -6 times anything nice to get to -5. So I went ahead and did the differences, and there's nothing consistent happening here in the first round of differences. But if I go to the second round of differences, I can see if I go from 1 to 3, that's +2. 3 to 5, that's +2. 5 to 7, that's +2. So when we look at the second differences and those are equal, then we know that this is quadratic. Okay, so this one is quadratic. And I'm showing that right here by showing that the second differences are equal. And I also could say down here, the second differences are equal. Okay, let's look at this next table and see if we can see what's going on with it. So when I start here, I'm going to check that to make sure my x values are successively going up by the same amount, and they are. They're each going up by 1. So let's check my y values and see what's happening. And I think you guys can all tell here what's happening. So I don't want to say divided by 4, but even though that's what's happening, because when we go to write, if we were to write the equation of this exponential, we want to do whatever we're multiplying by to make this happen each time, because that's where we get our b value in the equation of an exponential. So let's see what's happening here. To get 48 to 12, I know that I'm dividing by 4, but what you can actually do is say that you're multiplying then by 1/4. Oh, I got to get a different color. You can't see that blue on top of that blue background at all. I am multiplying by 1/4. So, and you can always go and look at the division and check this too. So 12 times 4 is 48. So when you work backwards like this, then make sure that you use what you're multiplying by. So 12 times 1/4 gets me back to 3, because 3 times 4 is 12. And this one times 1/4 would be 3/4, which is 0.75, and so times 1/4. So when the ratios are equal like this, we know that that means this is exponential, because the ratios are equal. Okay, so it's really important that we talk about the ratios for this one and the differences for this one. The differences are when you add and subtract the numbers, and the ratios are when you're going to multiply by a certain number to get to the next one. So be sure and use the right language there when you're talking about the differences or the ratios. That's really important, okay? All right, I got to get a hold of my little camera here, my picture, and move me so we can look at this next one. Okay, so this is one that we're going to look at now. Oh, I went to my next slide and I didn't mean to do that. All right, so this one, this third table, we want to check to make sure our y values are successively, the x values are successively going up by 1, and they are. So when we go back to look at the y values, and we're going to see what's happening here, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. You guys are also smart. You're automatically seeing that these are going up by 2 without me even having to say much here. And when these differences are all the same, that means this is a line. This is linear. And the differences are equal. Okay? All right, so I'm going to stop this video and go on to the next slide, and I'll have a new video on the next slide.